Hey there boys, Berry Games, and we hear of price raises all about. Everything is going up. The prices of groceries, the prices of video game consoles. Xbox consoles are sitting over 600, 700 on Amazon, and PS5 is $649, but Amazon's coming through with a discount. You can get it for $549 right now. But these prices are going absolutely bonkers, and they're showing no signs of slowing down or stopping with these price increases, and it turns out that Nintendo might be following suit. We got some information pointing us in that direction, saying Nintendo will eventually have no choice but to increase the price of Switch 2 hardware. But of course, before we get into it, I'd really appreciate it if you could just smash that like button and hit that subscribe bell, as it really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Hype this video for a cookie, and as usual, let's get right into it. In an interview on the Kit and Krista podcast, the former Nintendo employee, who is referred to simply as Sean, was asked about Sony's recent PS5 price hike and whether Nintendo would follow suit. He replied in a kind of cryptic way, saying that while Nintendo will likely do what's best to resist increasing Switch 2 prices for as long as possible, he feels like it's inevitable that an increase will come eventually, and that Nintendo's recent decision to sell digital games for less than physical games in the US may be an attempt to soften any backlash that's going to come. Unfortunately, I think eventually the hardware price is going to have to go up, he said. I think that there's things that they can and seem to be doing to try to mitigate that, but I also look at this move on software as, if I'm reading it correctly, a way to make a hardware price increase a little bit more palatable for fans. We've seen inflation being a problem for a while now. Tariffs are a more recent nuisance, but they're not going away anytime soon. The demand that AI is causing for chips is causing memory prices to go up, and within the past couple of weeks, we've had issues with oil prices going through the roof, and when oil goes through the roof, that's not just shipping costs that go up. There's, we can imagine, to get the games from wherever they're being manufactured to the warehouse, the retailers, to the shelf. It's gonna drive the prices up. But there's other things that people may not realize. Helium is a byproduct of producing oil. Helium is a key and unreplaceable ingredient in making semiconductors. While means hardware prices go up, it's an unreplaceable byproduct of making silicon wafers, which means if you're Nintendo, you're producing cartridges, that's gonna go up as well. So just taking a minute to break this down, what he's saying is cartridges for Nintendo's games are possibly going to go up. The cost for Nintendo to make these are gonna go up, and they're most likely going to lay it onto the consumer. These things are happening in the background while Nintendo tries to keep their console at a certain price, but it just turns out it's gonna go up regardless of how hard they try. So there's all of these world events that's been a while putting pressure on pricing and margins, and they don't seem to be going away. Tariffs are going to be here for a while. It seems inflation is really stubborn, and I don't think the issues that we're seeing in the Middle East with oil pricing is going to help that. In fact, it's likely going to make inflation worsen and stick around for even longer. So even if they're able to make concessions in some areas, like hardware prices are going to go up, I think eventually. That's what he said. Sean added that while Nintendo will try to offset a drop in hardware profit margins with some income such as merchandising, it will likely come a point where drop will be so large that it will have no choice but to increase the price of the Switch 2. If the proposition is you're gonna spend a little bit more on hardware, but if you're gonna buy your games digitally, you can save money there. That's one way to look at it, he said, but Nintendo also has a lot of ancillary products like amiibo, t-shirts, lunchboxes, Lego sets that they can make money from other areas, not just hardware. But they may may be able to put off raising hardware prices for a moment, but I think it's inevitable that they're going to go up for the first time. And you know, we've been through various phases with Nintendo's through various economic turns and stuff, but it does really feel like this time in particular, there's just so many outside forces that is kind of forcing their hand in a way, and they probably aren't really used to that in the past. Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa said in February that Nintendo was having discussions with its suppliers to ensure a stable supply of RAM in the long term, and that as a result, there were no plans to increase the price of Switch 2 due to increasing cost of memory, at least at this time. Furukawa did add that should Nintendo decide to implement a price increase in the future, it would have to take a number of factors into account. Price changes will be determined comprehensively, taking into account not only profitability but also the adoption of the platform, sales trends, market conditions, he said via machine translation. And this information is kinda game changing because people already had a problem with the Switch 2 at the price that it launched at, but now if it is to go up, do you see any backlash coming Nintendo's way? Do you think sales will dip? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, it's been Barry Games. Let me know what you think about all this. Click this video on the screen. YouTube thinks you're gonna like it.